So, welcome to our next unit. We are starting Unit 7A. It's called polynomials, something totally different, so you can think of this as a fresh beginning. So, we are on page 1, and there is a lot of vocabulary that goes with this unit. So, what I'd like you to do is take a minute, pause this video, and copy this information down. And you can see up top I added a word, which is term. So again, pause it, copy this down, and then I'll go through it. So to start with, a term is a math expression which only contains multiplication. And terms are separated by plus or minus signs. So for example, it can be variables, it can be numbers. I could say 3, that's a term. 3x, that's still a term because you're multiplying 3 times x. Now, if I add or subtract sign, this is a term, and this is a term. If I add another add or subtract sign, that's another term. Okay. Now, the number of terms has different names. So moving down here, polynomial. Pretty much everything we are working with is a polynomial. There's a couple of cases that come up that aren't, but we're not going to get into those now. For example, this thing over here is a polynomial. It has to have at least one term, and it's separated by plus or minus signs. A monomial is a term with it's got one term. So for example, 3x is a monomial. 3xy is a monomial. 3xya is a monomial. A binomial is like a bicycle. It has two terms. So if I take 3x, but then I put a plus sign, that has become a binomial. You have a 3x, and then you have a plus y. Trinomial means you have three terms. So if I have 3x plus y plus a, 1, 2, 3. That's a trinomial. Now, a lot of times we write things in what's called standard form. So what we're doing is we are rearranging our polynomial in order from biggest exponent to smallest exponent. And we'll practice some of this on the next page. The last thing we have PEMDAS, and that's the order that you do math problems. Remember, parentheses, exponents, multiply, divide, add, and subtract. So we're going to kind of jump back and forth. This first page is basically our cheat sheet page. And then the ones that follow are where we practice. So what I want you to do now is turn to page 2. And I'm going to open up my page 2. See, here's my blank copy. And we are going to look at lesson 40. So let me get my pen ready. Let's see. I'm going to zoom in. So again, this is lesson 40. We're adding and subtracting, and we're dealing with vocabulary. So we're on page 2. So the directions for the top say state whether each expression is a monomial, binomial, trinomial, or a polynomial. This is just practicing looking at the different terms. So we have 5mn. Oh, there's our plus sign, splits it up. So we have two terms, so that's called a binomial. Let's look at letter 2. Remember, plus and minus sign split terms up. That's got 3 terms. It is a trinomial. Let's see, I want to move this over. Number 3, it's just a number. This is called a constant. Plain numbers are called constants. So this is also a monomial. So go ahead and finish questions 4 through 9, pause the video, and then come back and check your work. Here's what I've got for the rest. Now we're going to move down to question 10. Of course, I didn't say pause the video, go through those answers. I'm just trying to save time for you if you're watching this video. Arrange the terms of each polynomial so it's written in standard form. Remember, standard form is biggest exponent all the way down to smallest exponent. And the constant, that plain number, would go at the end if you have one. So let's take a look at number 10. Our biggest exponent, zoom in a little bit more. There we go. Our biggest exponent is 3x to the third, so I'm going to put that first. Our next biggest exponent is an x squared, so I'm going to bring plus x squared. There's no sign in front of it, but it's assumed to be a plus sign. Now we have, look how I'm putting the plus sign with my 27, a plus 27 and a minus x. The x has an exponent, it's an invisible 1. So I'm going to put that first, the minus goes with it, and then plus 27. It's technically an easy problem, but it gets tricky with the details. That's really the theme for this whole unit. Let's scroll down. I'm just going to do this column because it's easier to move. Pause the video, give number 12 a try. So our biggest exponent is a plus 5x to the third. So I'm going to write that first. 5x to the third. Then, remember, you're looking at exponents, not that big number in front of the x. So minus 3x squared is the next biggest exponent. And then we have an x. So plus x. And then plus 4 goes at the end. Try number 14. Again, pause the video. See how you do. Our biggest exponent is right here, negative 7x to the fifth. Our next biggest exponent is this, plus x to the 4. Remember, we're not looking at the big number, we're looking at the exponent. Then plus 4x to the third, and a plus 1. What you actually, let me go down. Let's do number 8. We'll do 16, then we'll do 18. Biggest exponent, 2x to the 8th. Next biggest exponent, minus 3x to the 6th, minus x to the 5. Biggest exponent to smallest. Now this one, number 18, has 2 letters. So just make sure you have your biggest exponents. Let's see, we got a 9x to the third and a 7y to the third. Go in alphabetical order if you're not sure which one to put first. So 9x to the third plus 7y to the third. Let's see. We got x squareds now. Minus 8x squared, minus y squared. And then our last guy right here, minus 6x. Finish page 2. That counts as a homework. And then the next video, we'll go over adding and subtracting.